What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So, I had some interesting experiences outside of the house the other day, so I figured I'd bring them to you guys to let you know what's going on behind enemy lines, I guess you could say, out here in the COVID province, right? So, let's get into it. So first things first, I'm starting off with my nice fancy cup of Jim Beam Black because you can't go wrong with that. That stuff's pretty good to go. But anyway, we went out the other day. We had to pick up a few more things, and we get groceries daily and stuff like that, and we're all set. You know, we're all set with that stuff. But we need a little bit more booze and stuff. And my wife and we actually got out of the house, and my mother-in-law was watching the kids. First time we've ever done it. I ever had someone else watch the kids around the house, and it was kind of cool for us. But anyway, I want to talk to you about a couple of things that happened to us out there in the COVID quarantine province, and it's kind of weird, kind of creepy a little bit too. So first thing is when you go into any grocery stores or anything like that, and they only allow one person at a time to go in per family. So they only allow one person at a time to go in per family. And there's someone outside the store standing there watching everyone come in. Very policed, I guess you could say, very policed state. Anyway, making sure that there's only one person per family going in and out. That same person outside the store is responsible to wipe down every single cart that comes out of the store. They bring it over to him, he wipes down every single cart, and he parks it. Once you get in the inside, they have the floors taped off. Like we're talking boot camp style. Marine Corps boot camp with little footprints on the ground that you had to follow. Now this is taped. It's taped with arrows, and you're only allowed to walk one direction around the store. That's it. You're only allowed to watch one direction around the store. You're only allowed to come in through one way through checkout and go out one specific way. And it's specifically taped off, and they're making sure along the entire way that this is how it's done. And this is with every single grocery store or convenience store, Walgreens, you name it. It's all the same. It's pretty ridiculous. It really is pretty ridiculous. Now, I understand that they're trying to make sure people are doing the social distancing, but you got to learn when to draw the line. You really got to learn when to draw the line here. And then after, there's also now a new executive order out there that if anyone is out of their house, they have to have a mask on. And they prefer if you have gloves on too, so you have to have a mask. So everyone's in the store with masks and gloves on and stuff like that. And I was at Walgreens. I was walking around getting my soda for I get my Coke for this. But I was at Walgreens. I was walking around, and I noticed there's a police officer that was, heavy, we'll just say someone who hasn't met physical regulations or physical standards in a long time. Police officer decided to walk in, and she had a bit of an attitude with it, just the way how she presented herself and stuff like that. And she walked into Walgreens pretty much like she owned the place, and she called out the manager right in front of me. And they were blocking the hallway. I was trying to get one way, and they're following the arrows the way I'm supposed to go, and they were completely blocking the way. So I had to sit there and watch the entire thing. And she was basically yelling at the manager, saying that there was a complaint by a customer that she had to respond to, that someone in the store wasn't wearing gloves. So the police department was called, and they had to go out there, and they had to go and take a look and make sure people are wearing gloves. Are you going to arrest people because they chose not to wear a glove? That's a little out there. But anyway, so she went there and basically was complaining to the manager, and the manager was trying to assure her and try to calm her down. She's like, "Whoa, why are you going off on me?" It's like, no, I make sure all my employees are wearing gloves, and we all have masks. If you can't see, this is what we're doing. And the police officer's like, well, I had a complaint. And it's just like, okay. And I'm like sitting there in the behind just waiting to go by. I'm like, wow, this police officer's got some serious attitude about this. Almost like a, what do you call it? We call it in the military, we call it asshats. That's our nickname for it. So basically someone who likes authority. There's a lot of good police officers, but there's always a 10%. Someone who really likes authority and really gets off on it. And that's the type of officer that, it kind of reminded me of when I was right behind her. But and then that whole encounter lasted for a couple of minutes, and then she walked out and went out the door and went out to her car. I'm like, holy crap, and that's kind of ridiculous. Someone called the police because they didn't think someone was wearing gloves in the shop. And they figured it was important to report a place because someone was wearing gloves. So it was a little bit ridiculous. Now, my wife noticed this too when we were in and out, because we couldn't go in the same stores together. I had only one person per family, which is whatever, is ridiculous. But anyway, so one thing she pointed out, which I noticed too, is just the anxiety in here of everybody. I mean, everybody looks at you as the boogeyman. And you have that same look. You almost feel that same way to other people, but everyone looks at you like the boogeyman. Like I had a UPS driver show up the other day, and he's just dropping off a box and stuff like that. My toddler opened the door. My 4-year-old, not toddler, but 4-year-old opened the door. So I'm just at the door, and I just open it up, and it'll be nice. I'll just grab the package. And he stopped, and he was already about 15 feet away from me. And then he took 5 more steps back and gave me this like dirty look. I'm like, all right, I'll step back inside. I'll let you drop the package off. And he dropped the package off. Then I went out and grabbed it, and I went inside. I'm like, wow, people are really going over the top here when it comes down to this. But I understand there's fear, the whole fear aspect to it. But there's got to be some lines. There's got to be some sort of lines. I mean, it's starting to feel like a police state. It really is starting to feel like a police state. It pretty much is a police state. And it's ridiculous. I mean, I looked at the statistics as of the other day, or as earlier, and a little bit over 23,000 people in Connecticut have been reported as infected, and there's almost 2,000 fatalities because of the COVID-19. So yes, it's very bad. I mean, they're a suburb of New York City. It's pretty bad out here when it comes to that. But there's some really extreme measures that just feel a little over the top to me. Feel a little bit over the top for me, especially the police officers out there. You gotta, you can't be going in somewhere with a full attitude like you own the world and start yelling at someone because there is a complaint by someone because they weren't wearing gloves. There's no constitutional rights that say anything about you're required to wear gloves. There's no state laws that specifically state that you have to wear gloves. I don't even know what you could arrest them for. What can you arrest them for? Public disobedience? I don't know. What could you possibly arrest someone for? Just filing a complaint? I don't know. It didn't seem right to me. But anyway, I can only compare it to how you felt when you're out there too, because when you're looking at everyone, it reminds me of when you're overseas in Iraq, and we were used to getting shot at, pot shots, all that other stuff. It didn't happen a ton, but it happened enough that we got used to it. We're used to clearing buildings. We're used to all those threats. But the one threat that was always terrifying to us was IEDs. Every single step you take, you didn't know what was going to go on, and you didn't know the whole I don't know factor. Is this going to be my last step that I take? And it almost feels like that when you're out there. Not quite as extreme, but it has that same kind of feeling like, wow, it's like I'm in IED alley right now with COVID IEDs. So anyway, guys, I just want to give you an update of what's been going on here. I mean, there's not much been going on. I mean, basically, I'm still working from home. I go into work on the weekends just to fill out my paperwork and do some PPE stuff and all the other stuff, and I keep up the track for stuff throughout the week. Next to that, we've been, just doing our thing. So we've just been doing our thing. That's all we're doing, just trying to live our lives and just get through the day. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about me. And remember, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.